Once upon a time, in a city that never slept, there lived a man named Marcus. Marcus was not so different from you or me. He had dreams, fears, and moments of doubt. But unlike many, he had discovered something powerful, the wisdom of the Stoics. Their words became his refuge in the storm, his light in the darkness. This is the story of how Marcus faced his toughest days with the help of Stoic philosophy, and how you too can find strength in these ancient words when life feels heavy. Marcus worked long hours in a job that drained his spirit. Every morning, he woke before the sun, his body heavy with exhaustion. The bills piled up, and the future seemed uncertain. One evening, after another difficult day, he sat alone in his small apartment, staring at the wall. He felt lost. That night he remembered a quote from Epictetus. "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The words struck him like lightning. He realized he'd been focusing on everything outside his control, his job, his finances, the opinions of others. But he had forgotten the one thing he could control, his own mind. The next morning Marcus decided to change his approach. Instead of dreading the day, he whispered to himself the words of Seneca. "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." He understood that his fear of the future was worse than the future itself. He took a deep breath and stepped outside. The sky was gray, but he noticed the birds singing. A small moment of beauty in an ordinary day. Weeks passed and Marcus faced new challenges. His boss criticized his work unfairly. His first instinct was anger, but then he recalled Marcus Aurelius. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He chose not to let another person's words define his self-worth. Instead of reacting with fury, he calmly asked for feedback and improved where he could. One winter night, Marcus received news that shook him deeply. A close friend had fallen seriously ill. Fear and sadness threatened to overwhelm him. He opened his notebook where he had written down another Stoic lesson, this time from Epictetus. "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." Marcus understood that life was unpredictable. He couldn't control his friend's health, but he could control how he showed up, with love, support, and presence. As the seasons changed, so did Marcus. He no longer saw himself as a victim of circumstance. The Stoic quotes he carried in his heart had taught him resilience. When money was tight, he remembered Seneca's words, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." He learned to appreciate the simple things, a warm meal, a quiet walk, the company of good books. Then came the hardest test of all. Marcus lost his job. The news felt like a punch to the stomach. For a moment, he wavered. But then, like an old friend whispering in his ear, the words of Marcus Aurelius returned. "The obstacle is the way." He realized this setback was not the end. It was a chance to grow, to forge a new path. He spent his days studying, applying for new work, and reminding himself of another Stoic truth: difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Months later, looking back, Marcus saw how far he had come. The job he lost had led him to something better. The struggles had made him stronger. The Stoic quotes were no longer just words. They were his armor, his compass. He often thought of Seneca's reminder: "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." He had chosen to be willing, to accept life's twists with courage. Now, when tough times come, and they always do, Marcus does not despair. He turns to the wisdom of the Stoics. He remembers that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. That every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue. That the present moment, no matter how difficult, is all we truly have. And so, dear listener, when your own storms come, Remember the lessons that guided Marcus. When fear whispers in your ear, reply with Epictetus. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. When anger rises, recall Marcus Aurelius. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. When sadness weighs heavy, let Seneca's voice remind you. He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than is necessary. Life will not always be kind, but within you lies the same strength that guided the Stoics and Marcus. The power to choose your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. The power to endure, to grow, to find peace even in the chaos. The next time you face a trial, let these words be your guide. For as the Stoics taught, it is not what happens to us that defines us, but how we rise again and again, with wisdom in our hearts and courage in our bones. And so the story continues, not just for Marcus, but for you. The pen is in your hand. The next chapter is yours to write. Let the Stoics walk beside you. Let their words light your way. And remember, in the end, the toughest times often reveal the strongest souls.